All right, here I am with Ron Pollard, who I know as a fantastic photographer,
Thank
portrait
you.
photographer, personal branding photographer, and now
Hmm.
he is adding to his resume, leading workshops with his Captivate workshop at
Hmm.
business. Ron, why don't you elaborate and tell us a little bit more about you and what you do?
Well, as you know, Lynn, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, the Big Easy,
Who that?
birthplace. Who that? Who that? All right. Um, and I love teaching. I love photography. I studied mass communications. I also did theology. And even when I was in ministry, I was doing photography for years upon years upon years upon years, from Los Angeles to Australia to New Zealand to various parts of Africa, the east side, the south side of Africa. And for different events, my goodness, man. I studied with Nikon Field School. That was amazing back in the late 90s. Oh man, those schools were incredible. And that's how I got started with the whole learning and teaching thing. Now, my brother Sydney introduced me to photography when I was a child, when he came home from Vietnam, and he introduced me to photography. But I kind of put that away for a minute to focus on another career aspect, even though it was with me in my heart. And I did it, and I shot, and I created brochures, and I created what they call paraphernalia for different people, different agencies, all right, and things of that
Hmm.
nature. I just didn't do it full time. And
Hmm.
I did it because I loved it. I did it because I was good at it. I did it because of the immediate feedback. I did it because I
Hmm.
saw it made a difference. I did it
Hmm.
because I saw the impact of quality imaging that it had on people. It would make them give a second look, like, what? Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
that's why I did it. That's how I did it. I mean, that's the Cliff Note version. That's the short version. But that's how I did it. That's how I became focused on photography. And he introduced me to Nikon Pentax, the Pentax
Okay.
Asahi. And then, so from the film days, I studied with the Nikon Field School, but then I studied with pro photographers. I studied with Jerry Joe. I studied with Mike Cologne. I studied with a sports photographer who used to shoot for the Oakland Raiders, Jeremiah Soiver. He was phenomenal. So I spent months studying with him, getting beat up by him, beat down, getting my confidence taken from me, and then given back uh, throughout the
Yes.
days of film, and then in the days of the dark room, having to go in there and learn to deal with those chemicals, and cost yourself about 5 years of life dealing with all of those chemicals.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that very well. Very well.
Oh yeah.
It,
Oh
it, it
yeah.
it's
Oh
so
yeah.
funny because your journey is similar to so many photographers I meet and run into where
Hmm.
you first
Hmm.
have it in your heart, but you go off into another career, but still sort of keep it
Hmm.
nurturing it on the side, and then at
Hmm.
some point,
Yeah.
it's time to let it bloom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
since you've bloomed, I've
Yeah.
I've been really just
Hmm.
admiring your work.
Yeah. Thank you,
Um,
brother.
so
Thank
so
you.
so so today, what we want to talk about is your safari photography because I remember you
Hmm.
telling me that you were doing. I remember back in the day you were telling me you were going to Africa doing these humanitarian trips, and on these
Yes.
trips you would
Yes.
also do photography. And I'm
Yes.
guessing that's
Yes.
how you started a lot of that. But now you're like
Yeah.
focusing on Kenya. And of all the countries you've gone to, what is it about Kenya that you decided that this is where you want to, focus for your safari?
A combination of things. The beauty of the people,
Mm,
the beauty of the landscape, the beauty of the terrain, the amazing beauty of the ecosystem over there in Kenya. Now, you're
mm,
right. I've been to around 10 to 12 countries on the motherland. And
mm.
from South Africa to Eritrea, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Zimbabwe,
Wow.
and a few others. And I've
Hmm.
enjoyed it so deeply. All of them are beautiful. The last item for Kenya is relationships.
Mm,
the myriad of relationships I've had over the years. Okay. Now, this is different because I was working with a lot of NGO slash religious organizations. So this is not
hmm
going to be that focus this time. But I did meet enough people in the
I'm
wider
sorry, Ryan.
community. Mhm,
When you say
mhm.
NGO, that's non-government organizations, right?
Correct, correct. Yes, yes,
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
yes. So I met a number of people in the wider community who have said, Pollard, come on back, brother. We need you. We want you. We want to see you back. And having taken, as you know, Lynford, over 400 or 500 people over the years on those humanitarian experiences, I got to know a lot of hotels. I got to know a lot of safaris. I got to know a lot of safari
Mm,
lodges. I got to know a lot of different people. All right. And it was just, I just believed that it was time. Lindsay and I believed that it was time for this to take place because so many people have come on to my teaching, Ronald Pollard Photography, See Like a Pro, my mentoring sessions and my private mentoring. And I've been working with so many young people who shoot Sony,
mm,
Canon, Fuji, Nikon. Did I say Nikon? Nikon. And so I've had a number of people who've come on from all walks, all brands, and enjoy the
hmm
experience of us collaborating. And that's why my Captivate workshops just felt that this is the time to come back now and do it.
That's That's awesome. Now, tell me a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of skipped over it, but tell me a bit about these
Mm-hmm.
what you did for during these humanitarian trips that you were
Mm-hmm.
doing back in the day. Tell me about those. What was the purpose and
Okay.
goal, and how did you get to do photography?
Food feeding, um, orphanage development, water wells,
Wow.
um, medical support for so many people, providing monies for surgeries with abscesses and cuts and bruises and harmful things to a lot of people. And what we call spirit igniting or spirit replenishment, helping
Mm,
people to believe that they can do better, helping people to believe
wow.
they can make it. We helped a lot of widows. I mean, clothes, food,
Mm,
hospitals, nursing. I mean, you name it, man. We did it. Like I said, even with the Maasai people, school development. We helped build schools. We helped put money in place for schools. Teacher support. We funded teachers for 2, 3 years at a time. We did
wow.
a lot of that over the years, man. A lot of that. And I didn't want to do it by myself. So we had people go
Right.
with us from different institutions and from around the world. As a matter of fact, Lynn, we took young people from South Korea who came
Wow.
and went on these humanitarian trips with us. And as well, and as far away as the South Pacific, New Zealand and Australia. So out of that 500 people from Canada to the South Pacific to the Far East, we were just amazed and blessed to work with people from every diaspora, man, from all diaspora. Mhm.
Wow. Man, you've built up a
Mhm.
whole lot of good karma over the years,
Well,
huh?
I'd like to think so.